Hey, what's up, Exit the Matrix family? Bob here. Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day. Thank you for joining me on this morning talk. First off, guys, I just want to thank you guys. The channel's growing right now. We're moving close to 4,000 subscribers. I know in the whole YouTube world that's not a lot, but you gotta realize I'm not a YouTube type guy, you know. I'm not into like production and you know, video editing and all this stuff. I keep it pretty low key. I just like to talk to you guys. And I've done some podcasts and stuff. I kind of shied away from those for a while because I think somebody had backstabbed me, and that was part of my page being taken over. And I just, right now I'm not collabing with anybody essentially. I'm just going it alone and doing my own work. And with the support of you guys and having the Facebook page back, has been bringing back, it's been riding the ship for me. So, and it's been exciting. I've been able to reach a lot of new people, and things are doing well. And I'm actually having fun with the reels and the over on Facebook. But you know, to be honest, guys, my favorite thing to do is these morning talks. I love this. This is a more intimate connection with me and my views and my theories and my thoughts. And look, I never claim to know everything, guys, but I've been researching since I was in middle school. It's been my passion. So I hope you guys enjoy these, and I thank you guys for spreading, you know, sharing the videos and subscribing and liking videos, and you know, joining me over on my other platforms too. So you guys have been tremendous. So this is going to be a touchy subject here, though. But you guys know me, right? I mean, most of what I talk about is controversial because I don't pander to the left or the right. I don't pander to religion or atheism. When you're, you know, directly in the center, hermetically speaking, of all of those, you know, polarities, it really causes a lot of discomfort and anger amongst those that are on those extremes, right? And I'm fine with that because I'm speaking my truth. And I can tell you guys honestly from the bottom of my heart, if I ever feel that the universe, God, source, feels that I'm going in the wrong direction and tries to make that known to me and pushes me in a different direction, then, you know, I'll obey the source. I mean, you know, that divine pressure. But right now, to me, it feels like the divine is giving me wings and allowing my my speech to flow and my thoughts to flow unfettered. So, you know, for those of you that, you know, say I'm going to burn in hell for eternity and all that, and, you know, that I'm a blasphemer and I'm, you know, and you know, I'm an atheist and all that, you know. I mean, it just, look, man, it doesn't touch me, okay? If anything, it just adds fuel to my fire, okay? Because now I know I'm hitting points, right? And so we're going to keep on trooping on. But look, most of you hardcore followers of mine, more so on the YouTube side than on the Facebook side, because obviously the Facebook side is a lot larger net being cast, right? So, you know, I have a lot of Christians. I have a lot of atheists on my page, you know, a lot of rightists and leftists. And if you look at my comment section, you'll notice that. And I'm fine with that, folks. Look, I want debate. I foster debate. I foster debate on tough subjects. I enjoy that, and I support that. And some of you would say, you're causing division and this and that. Bullshit. Division is not allowing one side to have a voice. That's what causes division, because then one side has to become the rebels, has to go, you know, guerrilla warfare tactics, at least for speech, right? That's what happened to the right. The right was censored heavily by the left there for many years, especially during the Biden years. And it was backed by the government, censorship. So, and by the tech companies. And by the corporations. So, don't come at me with that bullshit division, this, division, man. Fuck your division, okay? If you're one of those people. Because the division was caused by the left. The void was pushed further apart. The canyon between the right and left was divided further by the left in their actions, their tyrannical actions. So I'm not going to hear that, okay? However, I'm not going to lessen my blows I put on the right either. Because the right, now we're watching the rise of division from a different way. Now it's the religious power is coming in and putting their weight on everybody. And I've already told you guys, look, the scales of polarity and dualism, we're going to shift from the far left, the tyranny of the far left, to the tyranny of the far right. And under the far right, it's going to be religious tyranny, okay? It's coming, folks. It's already, look, we already are being, the right's being divided by this very subject right now, right? Over a little shit country that's not even a real country. That's a construct of the world globalist Marxist elite, all under the guise of some holy, you know, long forgotten like country, right? It's all bullshit, folks, okay? But in that little shithole country, thinks it can put its power on everybody else by bribing countries, bribing politicians, setting up honeypot operations, working with other countries' intelligence agencies to undermine elections and undermine... Okay, I've already said too much. Let's just move on, folks. My bad. Sorry for that rant. But, so, basically, I just wanted to do a quick talk today, guys, on the conceptualization of God. And what do I mean by that? Well, I run into this every single day because I get attacked vehemently every single day by the far right, the religious zealot right, every single day. By people calling for me to burn in hell for eternity and this and that, and I'm not going to heaven, and my soul's going to be blotted out, and this and that. And it's all because my view of God is so much larger than their pathetic view of God, okay? And that's the truth. Now, let's break this down. Now, I'm called an atheist all the time, right? Well, why am I called an atheist? Well, they called me an atheist, folks, because I don't believe that the Old Testament God in the Bible, Yahweh, Jehovah, whatever his million names, which really aren't all the same character, okay? I've already broken this down. Many of those names are Canaanite gods, Sumerian gods, Egyptian gods. I mean, it's all a joke, folks, okay? It's really a joke. Astrotheology, sun worship, moon worship, on and on we could go. The same old, passed down for thousands of years, rebranded, remixed, rebranded, remixed. You know, I honestly believe more the view that the Gnostics put forth, that the Old Testament God is the demiurge, and that his so-called angels are the archons that feed off of our energy. I just did a 7-part series on Is Earth a Soul Trap, and we delve into that. So, I don't ascribe to your God Yahweh, okay? Your Old Testament jealous God of vengeance and destruction, okay? An Anunnaki God, one of the Elohim, right? He says, come, let us make man in our image after our likeness. Well, who's he speaking to? He's not speaking to his angels, he's speaking to his council. It even says in the Bible, it talks about the council, right, of elders or whatever it's called. Look, it's the council of Anuna that is in the cuneiform. It's the Anunnaki. He's one of them, okay? Not the creator of the universe, folks. That's why I don't follow your Yahweh God, okay? Well, he's a tetragrammaton, and he's the beginning and the end, and he's the Alpha and Omega. Oh my God, folks, my God. Words written in a book to idolize and to lift up a God chosen by a certain tribe of people out of a pantheon of gods, okay? That's all you got. And of course they're going to claim their God's the greatest. Look at the Egyptians. The Egyptians who were worshiping Ra, the sun god, right? Oh, look, remember Akhenaten, folks? Yeah. Claimed that He did away with all the other pantheon of Egyptian gods and claimed that the sun god, the sun disk god Ra, was the only god, he was, you know, trying to bring in monotheism into Egypt. Why? Well, because his cult, his following, chose the sun god Ra out of all the pantheon of the Thoth and all Osiris and all the other gods to be their chosen god for their little cult. And then he had the power of office as a pharaoh. And he made that the one religion. And then, of course, they were like, oh my God, this is the only God. If you don't believe in Ra, you know, the power of the sun's going to burn you to a crisp and blah, blah, blah. And you're going to hell, you know, and all this. I mean, it's the same bullshit, folks, over and over and over and over again, okay? Think about this. The city-states in Sumer, they would set up one of the Anunnaki, one of the council of royal Anunnaki, as their chief god of that city-state. The temple in the middle of the city-state, the city-states were designed in sacred geometry shapes to funnel energy, prayer energy, and power to the center of the circle. And in the center of the circle, you had the ziggurat, the pyramid, folks, with the altar at the top of the pyramid, and you had the priests worshiping the chosen god out of that Sumerian pantheon. One city could be Enlil, one could be Inanna, Ishtar, right? One would be Marduk, the son of Enki. One could be Enki's city-state. And they chose that Sumerian god to be their chief god for their city-state. Now, the Anunnaki did this on purpose, folks. Why? Well, because they were dividing up these humans amongst themselves in this land amongst themselves. And they didn't want competition within their own city-state that was chosen for them. They wanted all worship to go to them. And they figured, well, okay, that's your city, this is mine, and then that's your city. Of course, over time, they started fighting with each other and trying to overtake each other's territories and overthrowing each other's city-states. And they'd raise themselves up and they're in the temples, as you know, destroy the temple of Enlil and replace it with Inanna's, right? Look, folks, you've all been played. You're a bunch of fools that believe in this pantheon worship bullshit, okay? They've been playing us since the beginning of time. And all through the Abrahamic faith, it's the same characters over and over. Why do you think the same archetypes are found all the way down through the thousands of years? All the way from Sumer to Akkad to Babylon to Assyria to the Hittites, the Phoenicians, the Canaanites, all the way into the Persians, into the Greeks, the Romans, the Germans, the Druids, the Egyptians. I mean, look, folks, the same archetypes. Why? Because it's all based on those original Anunnaki that once walked the earth with men as gods, powerful beings, whatever they were they the Atlanteans that survived, you know, just technologically advanced beings? Were they from another world, another dimension? Who knows, folks? I don't know completely. I just speculate, okay? Nobody really truly knows where they came from or what they are. But we know, at least if you follow the ancient text of Egypt, of the Hindu, the Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, the Vedic text, the various cuneiform, covering the four main civilizations of Mesopotamia, and Zoroastrianism, and on and on and on. You'll realize that these characters have been passed down forever, and you'll realize that they set themselves up as gods over men. Right? I mean, in the book of Enoch, they're called the Watchers. It even breaks them down, right? This fallen angel, Semyaza, he gave mankind, the ability, taught him how to go to war and build weapons. And this one, taught them women how to beautify themselves with makeup and special linens and all this thing to make themselves more attractive. To who? To humans? No, to the Anunnaki. Because they were taking human women as concubines. That's where your Nephilim comes from. It's so funny when these Christians jump on my work And they're constantly like, no, they're the Nephilim, no, they're the Nephilim, no, don't shut the hell up, fools. The Nephilim were later on children, half-human children of the Anunnaki and humans, okay? The human race is a hybridization, genetically speaking, of the original hominids that walked the earth at the time. I don't know which ones they chose to take it from, the Neanderthal, Denisovan, who knows? And they mixed their DNA. But this was more of a genetic operation, okay? Upgrading here, change this here, move that there, right? They could genetically edit the DNA structure, okay? But then later on, yes, some of the Anunnaki took human wives. And some took men. Look, folks, see, you that are like, yeah, the angels are all men. There's no women in heaven. God only created the sons of men, sons of God. Come on, man, stop being a fool. If you look at the cuneiform, which is the original version of these angelic beings, you'll see there's men and women. They had females. Yes, even Anu, the Most High, El Elyon, had a consort named Ki. Okay? You had Inanna, Ishtar. She was one of the most powerful, one of the most highest ranking. You had Ninmah, also known as Ninhursag. Later on in Egypt, known as Hathor, the birthing goddess, the womb goddess. She was the one who birthed the first Adam and Eve prototypes. So quit with the BS, man. I mean, these Christians are like, yeah, angels are spirits, man. Yeah. Well, then how do they impregnate women? Well, you know, they just materialize a penis and then they do their job. I mean, come on, man. What joke you guys are. Let's be real. The Anunnaki were flesh and blood. Were they more advanced flesh and blood? Yeah, they probably had a more advanced avatar that they used. They probably had they probably didn't have the limitations on the pineal gland and such that we do. Okay? They had more direct access to source energy through their avatar. Ours is heavily limited. Why? Well, because they created us as a worker-slave race. So, obviously, you're not going to give the working slave class the same abilities if you're genetically modifying them that you would have yourself, right? You want to hold your power over them. You want to be the overlords, right? You don't want them overlording it over you, smarter than you, stronger than you. You wanted them smaller, weaker, more, their mental capacities more limited. Their spiritual connection heavily veiled and limited. Because you don't want them knowing that they are God, right? That they're fractals of God, of the true source. You don't want them knowing that. Well, you know, because why? Well, because they're not going to give in to your tyranny. Once they know what they are, the game's up. But yet, you Christians, you all back the limitations of the spirit within you, of your own divinity. Oh, poor Lord, you go to church every Sunday and you're like, I'm just a worthless soul, Lord. Come save this sinning son of a bitch. You're singing your stupid songs and everything and sitting in there worshiping this Yahweh God. And look, I don't have a problem with Yeshua, folks. I've told you, yes, Yeshua is the Son of Man and the Son of God, of course. Guess what? He was trying to teach us, folks, that we all are. Wow. He was just advanced. And according to the Gnostics, he was sent here to wake us up. He was on a mission. Is he a great, loving brother and a divine being? Of course he is. But you've all tried to deify him, right? You tried to ball him up into him being Yahweh and all this. Yeah, you tried to ball him up with the devil, folks. Do you not get it? Do you ever wonder why in Revelation at the end, in the end times of Revelation, only 144,000 know the truth? Only 144,000 are not deceived by the Antichrist? Well, why is that, folks? Well, that's because you all worship the devil Yahweh. That's why. Haven't you ever figured it out? You've all been tricked. And you come at me saying I'm a blasphemer and all that. You're the ones that are worshiping this old Sumerian god Enlil and Anunnaki. Not me. You are. I mean, eat your crow. I mean, wake up. Remember, Yeshua said, don't you know ye are gods? The kingdom of heaven is within, not without. See, you're all searching for God in churches and synagogues and in the words of these priests, these Yahweh priests, right? Yeah, you're all, these guys that are all, collecting, living off your labor, off your money, your energy, dancing around, singing now. These guys, priests up there playing guitars and singing. I mean, it's a clown show, folks. You guys understand what theater is, right? Theater was not about plays and stuff originally. Theater was about teaching people about gods, about religion. This goes all the way back to the Greek times. Theo is God in Greek, right? That's where you get theology, right? Well, theater was the God show, okay? It was shows put on, that theater put on in amphitheaters with people teaching about the gods. So when you go to church, you're just watching theater, folks. And when you pay your tithings and you put money in that little pan for Pastor Dan, you're paying for the show. You're being played a God show. Okay? It's the same thing going back for thousands of years. But I'm the atheist, right? Because I see God as so much bigger than you guys see God. I mean, you see God as a dude sitting on a throne with the book of judgment in one hand and everybody around his throne, worshiping 24/7, holy, 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 and the angels blowing trumpets in everybody's ears. And I mean, this is how you guys picture God, right? And Jesus sitting at his right hand, right? Yeah. Yeah, man, the Son and the Father and the Son. Who's the Holy Spirit? Oh, it's the power of God. No, you dummies. The Holy Spirit is the mother. My God, how dumb are you? What do they call it? The Comforter. Yeah, why would you call it the Comforter? Well, what does your mother do? She comforts you, okay? She loves you. She gives you protection. See, they hated the Divine Feminine so much that they veiled the Divine Feminine in all these bullshit terms and names, instead of just saying the mother, okay? That's why Catholics hold Mary in such esteem. That's why the Gnostics held Sophia in such esteem. Because I think at least one thing you give to Catholics, I think they understand the Divine Feminine is the Holy Spirit. And that's why they picture her as, Mother Mary, right? A lot of your Baptists and all the other ones, they scoff at the Catholics over that. Oh, that's, worshiping a human and this and that. But no, it's just because they're placing her in the place of the Comforter of the Holy Spirit. Because at least they understand that the Holy Spirit is the Divine Feminine, okay? Aspect of God. But most Christians are ignorant to that. They don't even understand simple things. Right? The Father, the Mother, and the Son. I mean, can you imagine that concept? No, come on, man. It's all males. God only creates males until he takes a rib bone out. Then he creates the first female. There aren't female angels. There ain't female. I mean, there isn't a female God. No, God isn't part female. No. See, folks, your conception of God is pathetic and weak. My perception of God is something so much bigger. My perception of God is all of creation, that we're essentially fractals of that consciousness, of that grand consciousness and energy that permeates all of creation. We are part of that mind. We're living in that mind. See, to me, God is, I'm not saying God doesn't care about humans, that God is like, some people believe that God is like this aloof energy power, right? That it just creates, that it has no like personal care about its creation. It's just kind of aloof, neutral to it, right? It just creates and it allows everything to perpetrate how it will, right? Propagate, I mean, that's probably a better word, right? Propagate how it will. But I don't believe that. I do believe that that mind, that great mind, that true source, I believe that it knows all of its creation down to every little energy particle. And that all those energy particles are a part of that grand consciousness. And so, of course, it knows all of us and it loves all of us. It loves all of its creation, even the ones that do evil, because it's part of it. Okay, folks? We're all on a kind of a data collection thing where it created and then it wanted to experience its creation. So it fractalized itself into trillions and trillions of untold amounts of consciousnesses. But it's all still tied to the main consciousness. See, most of you Christians could never understand that because it's too grand of a vision of God. It's too, you like the simplified Greek version of God, right? Like a Zeus figure sitting on a throne. I mean, that's how simplified your version of God is, you know? I mean, having pissing contests with Satan, Book of Job, right? Having pissing contests with the sorcerers of Egypt, right? With Moses and such. I mean, give me a break, folks. It's time to wake up, man. Time to wake up. You've all been asleep. So you can go on, keep calling me an atheist, keep saying I'm going to burn in hell for eternity. See, I know in my heart that consciousness lives on for eternity and that I'm one with the Creator, with the Godhead. And the Godhead is not going to destroy any of its children. Why? Why, you ask? Well, you committed sin, you did this, you did that. Well, you didn't punch your ticket into heaven. You didn't believe in Jesus. You didn't follow Jesus. You didn't worship Yahweh. No. Simple. Because God's not going to take out part of himself, okay? God's not going to blot out his own consciousness. Remember? Simple physics, right? Energy cannot be destroyed, right, folks? Can only be transmuted. So there you go. From one atheist to you. And look, folks, I could beat the shit out of the atheists, the materialists left. They're a joke. They're not even worth the time, most of them. I mean, they're complete. They're in their own cult. Okay? I mean, you literally got conscious gods claiming that there's no God. It's ridiculous, right? I mean, because we're all gods, folks, okay? We're all gods. Now, as this creation and this grand experiment of God has gone on, obviously there's storylines written and there's, big, changes. And I mean, look, it'd be boring if everything stayed the same, right? And it was all easy. I think that's truly why things can be great good and great evil on the earth. I think, and look, maybe every world that has been created by God is different. Maybe there's different types of dimensions and worlds and whatever, planets, whatever you believe in. I don't care. I don't get into that stupid argument, flat earth, round earth, sphere earth. It's more or less a type of simulation. So does it really matter, the shape? But however, for some reason, Earth is and this is according to people who have NDEs and such. They say Earth is like the hardest place you can possibly come to. It's got the it's got the duality, the polarity. You got great good, great evil. You got the great darkness, the great light. It's just all these far, polarities and stuff. So it's a hard place to come to. But anyways, folks, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off there. Oh, work's been rough, folks. I didn't even get off work till almost 7 yesterday. Well, I got off around 6:30, got home a little after 7. So it's been brutal. We just keep on trooping on. I'm basically working 7 days a week right now. So, but I'm trying to keep up with my social media stuff and with videos. And I've been doing a better job with the videos. That series kept me kind of plugging away, and I'm going to try to keep it going, folks. I had a video yesterday I did. I don't know if I'm going to release that one. It's kind of disjointed. Today, though, I felt like I was in the flow state. God was allowing me to speak my truth. And, like I said, man, God hit me in the back of his head, say, hey, you're talking bullshit, blasphemy. Go a different direction, then I'll listen. But when I'm going in that flow state and I know there's no resistance, then, hey, then I know that God's fine with what I'm talking about, okay? And that may upset you religious people because all you know is religion. You don't know anything but religion. And look, I can't hate you for that. It it irritates me in a way, because I want to see my brothers and sisters wake up to their divinity and wake up to the larger aspect that God is, instead of this Greek style God sitting on a throne judging people, like fearing for your life every second. That's why you're always going to give your money to Pastor Dan so he can punch your ticket into heaven, right? Then you can, oh, I got faith of a mustard seed and my ticket's punched to heaven. I'm good to go. I mean, I know I clown on everybody. Hey, don't get upset. Look, I clown on everybody. I clown on the right and the left. I clown on atheists and religious people. Sorry. Just the way it goes, you know. If you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen, right? But those of you that are the real ones, the true ones, you guys stick with me and you get it. And you may not agree with all my stuff, but you at least hear the truth pouring out of me. And you know that, you know, it's my truth, obviously. Everybody's truth is a little different, right? But I'm giving you things to think about. And I hope you enjoy it. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if any of you are interested in supporting Exit the Matrix, supporting my work, allowing me to build up some more financial freedom so that hopefully I can get out of the hamster race and one day be doing, you know, this teaching stuff full time. That's the ultimate goal, to go large, you know, huge with Exit the Matrix. Then what you can do to help with that is, you know, look, I'm always open for just donations or support, you know, in any kind of way, but I would rather give you some of my energy and time, and that would be in a one-on-one Zoom. You know, so if you're interested in that, there's information in the descriptions. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and roll. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later.